Hey Pixies! Today we're doing my final Christmas manicure of 2021. I'm using Double Dips His Queen and Pearled Ivory, the Modelones gel base and gel top coat, and then I also have cupcake liners, a fluffy nail brush, and these decals from HoneyBNails, the traditional red and green. I know we just used the pink, but these are the red and green, more traditional Christmas colors. And I didn't get to do as many Christmas manicures this month as I had planned because I've had a sinus infection. So I really wanted to make sure I used those and did the Christmas lights from the nail art compilation video. So that's why you're seeing them again. But I'm applying the gel base to my index, middle, and ring fingers, and I'm going to pour Pearled Ivory over them. Pearled Ivory is a beautiful shimmery nude color. I expected it to be a little bit more off-white, but it is a nude, and I was pleasantly surprised because this might be my favorite nude I have from Double Dip, so I was excited to have a good nude from them. I clean up the cuticle area with the water marble tool and then cure it for 30 seconds. Everything will be linked down below along with discount codes. I have several for Double Dip right now, and the Pixie 20 will save you 20% off everything except the mystery boxes. AMMYSTERY will get you a freebie with your mystery box. And then Pixie 30 will get you 30% off the Bellavina nail drill until December 31st. So those will all be down below, and I'll link all of my Amazon products from my storefront as well. The storefront will be lit down below, and that has all of my favorite nail products in there, along with one list that is my favorite non-nail related products. So now we're going to get started with our second dip. I'm applying that gel base again. This time I'm going to lay my finger into the powder, clean up the cuticle area, and cure it for 30 seconds. Now we're going to use His Queen, and it's the same process. I pour over for the first layer. I especially like to do that with chunky glitter because if you dip into it both times, it has a tendency to get a little too chunky. So I pour over. Not a lot of glitter pieces will stick whenever you do it that way. So this first one is just a base layer and you won't get a lot of glitter sticking to it. But when you're using gel, you could just lay into it for both layers. This is just how I typically do it, so I just get into the pattern of always doing it this way, but I still go through the same process of cleaning up the cuticle. And with chunky glitter, you want to tap down any of those glitter pieces that are sticking up with your finger. You have to be especially careful with gel because it has a tendency to move since it's not cured yet. I cured it for 30 seconds and used my fluffy nail brush to dust off any excess. I know I typically use a stiff nail brush, but I have 3 and they're all dirty right now. So they got stained with a black dip powder. One got stained with a red dip powder. I forget what happened with the third, but when they start to get stained, like if I have one stained with black dip powder and I use a light powder to dust off, it will stain that white dip powder black, if that makes sense. So I just used some Dawn dish soap and washed them and then let them air dry. And now we're doing our second dip. So I applied that gel base and laid my finger into the powder. If you pour all of your powder into a cupcake liner and there's not a lot of glitter pieces at the surface, you probably saw that I gave it a little shake. That brings those bigger pieces to the surface for you to dip into. Now I'm just cleaning up the cuticle, patting down any of those pieces so that they lay as flat as possible. And then we're going to cure it for 30 seconds and dust off as normal. And then we're going to apply our decals. These decals are water slides, and normally I'd put it into a little dish after I cut it out, but I didn't have anything to put it into this moment and I was in a hurry, so I just put a little bit of water from my water bottle onto a paper towel and let it sit for about 10 to 15 seconds. I just separated it from the back and picked it up with the jelly stamper, and I wasn't thinking. I tried to apply it without putting anything on my nail. So now I'm going to apply the gel base, and I do a flash cure. So I'm going to apply the gel base, flash cure it for about 15 seconds. And then now it leaves a really tacky surface. And I'm going to look through the back of that jelly stamper and apply it to the nail, and the gel base gives it that tacky layer to hold on to. I'm just smoothing out any of the little wrinkles, and then I'm going to apply a layer of gel base to each of my nails to encapsulate. So if you're using dip liquids, you would use clear dip powder to encapsulate everything. For gel, you encapsulate with gel. So I'm applying the gel base to each of the nails. I'll cure that for 30 seconds and then apply a layer of the gel top coat to each of the nails, cure it for 60 seconds, and do my buffing, filing, reshaping. If you have a lot of buffing and filing reshaping to do, you may want to do 2 layers of the gel top coat just to make sure you don't break through it into the dip powder or your decals. We're done buffing, filing, and reshaping. I used an alcohol prep pad to clean off the filing dust, and the colors we're using are from the gel line art kits from Bellavina. The dark green that I'll be using first is from the Holly Jelly kit, which is their Christmas one. All of the other colors are from the original gel line art set. Now, when using those, make sure that you're wiping the handle off really well, or that gel could run down the handle onto the bristles. So first I'm doing the string for the lights, and then I do some little dots. That would be the socket that the bulb goes into, and then I will cure it for 60 seconds. To get started with the bulbs, I put a little bit of each of those colors. The yellow kind of exploded on me, but I put a little bit of each of those colors onto a baggie. I have a very fine little brush, which I'll link those down below as well. And I am first doing like a dot right at the socket, and then I'm dragging it up into a point. So a few things to note are that This was originally a talk through video, so I was talking while I was doing my nails, but which is my preferred way to do it, but it ended up being really long with the nail art because it takes me a little while to do all of the little bulbs. So I'm doing it as a voiceover instead. And the second thing is that is why some of my hand movements and what I'm saying now don't match. Earlier in the video, I pointed to my cuticles, and the reason that I did that was because I had reached into a file cabinet at work and a file caught my index, middle, and ring fingers and caused me to have little cuts there, and they were bleeding, and that's why I have some wounds at my cuticle area. The other thing is that I am using a new phone to film, and for some of this nail art, I noticed that it gets a little blurry, and that is because of the settings, I believe. So I went in and changed some of the settings. So this week's videos have probably a little bit of blurry spots, and that's because of the two cameras trying to focus, but I think I fixed that. So hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. But every time I do one of the colors, I cure it for 60 seconds so it doesn't bleed or run. And then I move on to the next color, just doing that dot and then dragging it up into a point. Our gel is completely cured and our nail art is done. I'm going to finish up by applying the Modelones gel base to each of my nails, curing it for 30 seconds, and then the gel top coat and curing that for 60 seconds. The reason I apply the gel base first is because gel likes a tacky layer. When using dip powder, you buff it smooth. So if you apply that gel base first, it gives your top coat something to adhere to. If you go right in with your top coat, you can get some peeling of that top coat at the tips of your nails, typically is where it would happen. So applying the gel base will give you some longevity with your top coat. And you would also want to cap your free ends as well if you're looking for your manicure to last. So I hope you enjoyed this. What are your holiday plans? I already had my family's Christmas party, and Christmas Day we'll be going to my boyfriend's mother's house to celebrate. We do that every year. We have dinner and we exchange gifts. So I'd like to know what your holiday plans are or what your traditions are. I'd love to hear what other people's traditions are. We always do like a cookie day where my mom makes cookies and we all go over to decorate them, and then we have our families get together typically on Christmas Eve, but this year it was the 18th. So let me know down below what your plans are. And I'm going to finish up here with my top coat and cure it for the 60 seconds. This is the finished manicure. What do you think? Do you like these together minus the wounds? I thought it turned out really cute, kind of traditional, not quite with the nude, but pretty much traditional. I'm going to apply my cuticle oil. This one is Scales of a Mermaid. While I do that, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps YouTube recommend my videos to others. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or find me on Instagram at DippingPixie. Make sure you're subscribed with your notifications on. I have new videos every Monday and Thursday. That's it for this one, guys, and I will see you in the next one.